Sally and I don't live like you. Even considering she comes from a caravan. She was raised in a caravan, and I was raised in a 660 square foot house in East LA, my formative years. But we appreciate wealth. We've been rich and we've been poor. We'd rather be dead than poor again. Dead. In fact, we consider you mostly poor. So we would just put guns in our mouths and on 3, honey, pull the trigger. Boom! Then live like you. I drove by college today and yelled boo. This is actually yesterday. 35 people went to the hospital. 734 needed crisis counseling. 429 needed a safe area or room. Classes were canceled for a week. 2 years ago, I spoke at Krakow University in Poland. Great group. And we were in the physics building on the 3rd floor. I forget why we were there. And you could hear a pin drop. And I asked our minder, our interpreter, why is it so quiet here? This is not the library. Oh, this is a safe floor. I looked at her and I go, this is a PhD, blah, blah, blah. What do you mean safe floor? What does that mean? And she pulled out a card about this big. This is a safe card. And if people are getting in your face, you pull out your safe card. Or you can go to the safe floor. I said, are you shitting me? Is this a fucking joke? Is this a lot of jokes about Poles, right? Polacks in the hip. No. Are you fucking serious? A motherfucking safe floor. And I'm unhappy to tell you, the academies have safe floors. The Air Force Academy. And you can pull out a card when a senior's getting on your case. You got to stand down and let him. You can't yell at him anymore. We're lucky the fucking Russians don't invade us. They eat us for lunch. Not even lunch. By the way, there's only 2 places on the planet where they get QLA instantly. Russia, Ukraine. They get it instantly. Because they don't give a fuck what you think about them. You can't hurt their feelings. Safe for my ass. Unbelievable. If your adult child needs a safe space to avoid offensive words, you failed as a parent. If anything in my seminar offends you, blame your parents for raising a pussy. Now, self-esteem is built the first 7, arguably 8 years of life. If you read anything about the Spartans, they used to take the kids away from the parents at 7 or 8. Self-esteem is built the first 7 or 8 years of life. The Catholic Church used to say, they don't say it anymore because it's not PC, you give us your child the first 7 or 8 years and we will own his soul forever. The Catholic Church has got its hand so far up my ass, it's like the Pope's talking. I never saw any sexual abuse, but I sure as shit saw physical abuse on me. And when Sally and I support several Catholic organizations, and we had a sister superior come from Rome a few years ago, and we're talking, and she had 3 or 4 surrogates, young nuns, and she was about maybe 5, maybe 10 years older than I am. And I'm explaining how I used to get beat as a kid. And the young nuns said, no, those are all rumors. Rumors? I still can't put my hands up because I think I'm going to get hit with a stick from the nuns. And so then I finally got the Sister Superior to admit, she says, we've learned a lot from that experience. And everything we did wasn't right. Is that another way, Sister, saying that the kids got beat? Yes, I'm afraid so. You fucking ain't right, we got beat. And I know the Catholic Church has done a bunch of other bad stuff. But I mean, the physical abuse from my father and from the nuns made me the man I am today. They held me accountable. When my dad would come back into town, he heard that the nuns beat me, then he'd beat me again. Didn't even know half the time what he was beating me for. But if the nuns beat me or the priest beat me, then you did something wrong. And I deserved every beating I ever got. I deserved 100 times more beatings. I was a sneaky little shit. From trying to kill my teacher in grade school to trying to burn down the high school just before high school graduation. I looked for trouble. Some people say I was rebelling against my overpowering father. Whatever the fuck, I don't know why I did it, but I know I did it. So in 6 months, unless the kid's got a soiled nappy, shit in his pants, right? He's happy. Kids are happy. At 3 years old, they're still happy. 7 years old, this is about the end of the happiness. Now, how do you go from that to you? From that to you. You don't want to know. Because it's your parents. My dad's generation, current generation, from GI to pajama boy. That's insulting. I normally say at this juncture, but in this audience there may be a few people that I would have to use a cricket bat on, but in most audiences, university audiences, I can take 10 of the students at a time and kick their ass. 10 at a time. Somebody asked me recently, did you really bite a guy's nose off in a fight? I said, how do you know that? The fight's just almost over when you bite a guy's nose off. Now, to look at you, no, I'm not Attila the Hun, I'm not Genghis Khan, I'm not Adolf Hitler. But yes, I have bitten a man's nose off. You fuck with me, you're going to die. Or one of us is going to die. I may be able to take 25 in this group. I'm going to retract what I said about 10 in the university students. Men back in the days, men today. What happened? What the fuck happened? Now, if you put your left hand up like this, and your fingers look like A, your mother gave you testosterone. You get your testosterone from your mom, by the way. Bald head, and my mom gave me a bald head, but gave me testosterone. That's a quick benchmark. No, not gals, no. Some of the gals have more testosterone than the guys, but that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. And when you're like C, you should go to a doctor. Now, normal testosterone for a 28 to 32-year-old man, from 26 years old, a man is peaked out, and then it's downhill till by the time you're my age, you're supposed to have no testosterone, which isn't right. I mean, it isn't true. But normal is between 3 and 400 on the low end, and 6 and 800 on the high end. That's what your testosterone level should be. Mine has been as high as 2,500, and more recently, 1,800. And there's a guy online who, attacks, I guess you'd call him a hater, and he says, because I blinked my eyes when I was saying that, I must be lying. I have stigmatism. The back of my fucking eyeballs are flat. I've been blinking since I'm 3 or 4 years old. But his medical analysis was, because when I said that I was blinking, I must be a lie. Well, I can prove it in court with paperwork. 1,800. Let's forget the 2,500. Maybe that was an anomaly. I still pole vault to the bathroom in the morning. At 74 years old. Boom, boom. On a good day, 3 jumps. On a bad day, meaning it's a little flaccid, 5 jumps. At 74. Most people in this room, a stiff drink and a good fuck could kill you. And guys, if you don't think you can fuck all night between your ears, guess what? You're not going to fuck all night. This is one of my mentees, Parisian. We have mentees that are so ashamed of being a snowflake. This isn't Photoshop, this is for real. So ashamed of being a snowflake. There's clubs, not just in Paris. I don't even know about the Parisian one because he lives in Paris. They go monthly to beat each other with sticks. To beat the weakness out of them, the pussiness, the snowflakiness. What's the world? Holy shit. Now, I didn't have to do that. I just step out in the schoolyard and I'd be in a fight. Not every day. That'd be an exaggeration. But every week for sure. Where I come from, most of you kids wouldn't have got past 15 years old. You wouldn't, you wouldn't have got past 15. If love got the job done, most parents would have produced high performance. It doesn't. If love and religion got the job done, this room would be empty. And where is love and religion most prevalent? Poor countries. Because that's all they've got. The family and some form of God or higher power, whatever you want to call it. 2/3 of the world suffers from that and hasn't done much good, has it? 87%, according to Gallup, of the world is unhappy. I'm looking for the 13% that are happy. That's bullshit. Life expands and contracts with courage through pain. When I was in the military, they certainly didn't have any safeguards. And I was reminded by Bruce Whipple this morning, when they're putting makeup on me, the best man at my wedding, who became an FBI agent, during the maneuvers before they were sent us off to Vietnam, we would have war games. That's what I'm looking for. And he was captured, and he was staked out on an anthill. And I've been saying for 50 years they poured honey on him, but he corrected me because we had dinner with him a couple years ago. They poured hot cocoa on him, left him there for 3 days. He almost died from exposure and the ants. He had like 1 million ant bites. This was an exercise. When they capture you, they used to hang us up in trees and put battery wires to our testicles. This is the training. They throw you out of trees. They hang one hand or one leg on a rope and they throw you out of the tree, dislocate your hip, knee, arm, whatever. This is training. Can you imagine today if that happened? CNN and oh, fuck. Can you imagine? When I was a kid, maybe this is why I tried to kill my teacher in grade school. When I was a kid, I was always mouthing off, which is hard to believe, really, but I was always mouthing off. And they'd put me in the corner with a dunce cap. One of these like this, like a Ku Klux Klan cap. And if I turned around or I said anything, they put me in a closet. They take the dunce cap off and put me in a closet. I was in the closet 2, 3, 4, 5 hours until a parent came to pick me up. I shit myself in the closet. I peed myself in the closet. Can you imagine that happening today? But it's the reason I'm the man I am today. Now, this is the guy that inflicted most of the pain on me, my father. Looks like a movie star there, Naval Air Force. And this is not much of an exaggeration what he looked like. He had a 56-inch chest, 28-inch waist, 18-inch arms, and he never lifted a fucking weight. He was a gymnast, All-American. And he had me, who I couldn't even catch a ball. But they discovered I had peripheral neuropathy. Oh, God, don't let the ball come to me. Boom. Drop it. I was an uncoordinated son of a bitch. There's no question about that. And I had him as a dad. I still remember those big forearms. Boom! 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 But look at you. I probably would have beat some of you to death as your parent. Since you were an accident anyway, who gives a shit? He was an extraordinary man's man. Now, how many times, for those of you that have more than one kid, well, who's your favorite, right? And you lie. And you say, I have no favorites, right? That's a fucking lie, and the kids know it. Why don't you just man up? You were an accident. You should have rolled down your mama's leg, and we love this one more. I see a couple of the mothers smiling. They know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, why do you think Jocko is so fucking popular? Because he's a real fucking man. He's a real man. Unlike the also-rans. He's a real man. I'm indebted to my father for living, but to my teacher for living well, Alexander the Great. We are shackled by our dad's sins. I didn't feel too shackled, but anyway. When one has not had a good father, he must create one. Last year when you come to the Castle Seminar, you have to fill out a lot of paperwork, a lot of questions. And maybe a third through the questions I know whether you're full of shit or not, because you're so used to bullshitting yourself. Then you try to bullshit me. But the way the questions are presented, by the time you get to the end, the real truth comes out. I.e., were you in an accident? Do you think so? I.e., what regrets do your parents have? What regrets do you have? What's the highest performance thing that your significant other has ever accomplished? What's the highest performance thing your mother has ever accomplished, your sister? And when it's 0, 0, 0, 0, nothing, 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 I rest my motherfucking case. What benchmarks did you have to strive to achieve? What? None. Except being a pleasing loser. Children begin by loving their parents. After a time they judge them. Rarely ever do they forgive them. As Sally would say, the most fun I have is when we have a father, a grandfather, a daughter, and a granddaughter in the same seminar. I have a fucking field day. I mean, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. When the grandfather or when the dad tells his daughter, you're an accident. And then the granddaughter says, well, what the fuck was I? You're so used to lying to yourself. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Amen to that. Amen. Now, for 25 years I've been doing this, 26 and a half to be more accurate. Last year, I made an announcement. Everything about my life is on the internet. You know everything. And I said, the only thing you don't know is which hand I wipe my ass with. And I said, my right hand. So now you know every fucking thing there is to know about me. From trying to kill my teacher in grade school to going to a university that I flunked out of 3 times, a school you got to explain about, to wiping my ass with my right hand. You research me. If you did half the research on all the other bums, and I say that candidly, because the other guys aren't the sweat on my balls. They're not the dingleberry pieces of shit that I miss wiping my ass. Can I make it more graphic? Last night, the martini I had that Edward brought me in the restaurant, and I know you were trying to hunt me down last night, believe me, I know that. But nobody found us, did they? That's because your fucking meathead stoops. They're not the sweat off my balls. I lost more brain cells last night drinking than the whole population has. Sally says I have a sore back, arthritic back, because I've been carrying you guys across the goal line so many years. Maybe so. Because I do have an arthritic back. There's no question about that. But the hyperbaric chamber's helping.